Alex. Welcome. A huge fight card once again for you. Do you ever take time to kind of appreciate your trajectory in this company and how far you've come from your debut to headlining one of the most historic cards ever?
Pô, Alex, aí grande card chegando sabadão aí. Chegou a oportunidade de estar apreciando aí o tanto quão longe você chegou para estar liderando um card desse na sua carreira?
Não, com certeza, né? Desde quando eu cheguei aqui, eu acho que eu fui bem recebido, né? Mas agora, pô, é totalmente diferente, né? Cada luta que passa, eu vejo mais o carinho, a confiança, né? Não só dos fãs, mas de todo mundo. É isso.
No, man, absolutely. You know what I mean? I got welcoming getting here, but I see every time increasing my popularity and the love from the fans with me.
Yeah. Has there ever been a fan interaction or someone who's spoke to you, came to you, that's kind of made you, take a step back in that sense, like when you're really appreciating this?
Teve alguma interação específica com algum fã, com alguém que te fez assim, dar passo para trás, sentir, lembrar assim, que te marcou?
Eu não entendi.
Alguma interação específica, com um fã chegou, algum momento assim que te marcou um pouco, que você lembra?
Não, aqui sempre tem algo. Aqui ainda não, como não saí, a gente não está no hotel, a gente está numa casa, a gente está um pouquinho mais isolado, mas sempre quando estou no hotel, sempre vem muitos fãs, né, falando de histórias, assim, falando de álcool, de bebida, né, sabe da minha história e quer falar para mim que, pô, às vezes parou, né, não bebe mais porque viu a minha história, viu onde eu cheguei e isso motivou muito e eu acho que é onde que me toca.
Well, so far this fight week, no, because we're not staying in a fighter's hotel. We actually stay in a house, so we didn't have too much contact with the fans. But in general, man, always wherever I go, whether it's on fight week and I'm on the hotel, always a fan comes to me and say that they were able to overcome problem with addiction or alcohol, like by seeing his story, by seeing the way that he lived his life, and that is very touch motivating for him.
You had the interaction with Jamahal yesterday where he had you sign the jacket and stuff. What did you think of that? Were you surprised he came up to you and was so friendly in that moment?
Você teve aquele encontro com o Jamahal ontem, no qual ele veio pedir você assinar a camiseta, assim, foi bacana com você. Aquilo te surpreendeu um pouco de ter aquele tipo de interação naquele momento?
Não surpreso, mas acho que foi bem respeitoso, né, ali naquele momento. E, pô, assinei a blusa ali sem nenhum problema.
Well, not surprised. He was very respectful in that moment, so I signed the sweatshirt with no problem.
And what's just your expectation of what he's going to be like in the fight? Serious injury, long layoff for him. How does that affect the fighter that might be in the cage on Saturday compared to the one you've seen on tape?
Qual a expectativa que você tem para ele no sábado devido ao fato de ele estar vindo de uma grande lesão? Não sabe se recuperou bem, se não se recuperou. O que você tem em mente do lutador que você vai ver sábado versus o lutador que você já viu nos vídeos anteriores?
Eu não estou assim com a minha mente assim nesse lado que está um tempo parado, veio de uma lesão. Eu acho que se ele está ali, né, se ele aceitou essa luta é porque ele está 100%, porque ele sabe da responsabilidade, ele sabe com quem que ele vai lutar. Então na minha mente ele está bem e eu vou fazer a minha parte.
I'm definitely not with the expectations of him just being sitting out, not training because of an injury. If he signed a contract to fight this fight, he did for a reason. He knows the test that he have ahead of himself, so I'm very aware of that.
And just my last question. You weren't able to defend the title at middleweight. What would it mean to you to get a title defense of this belt in this weight class?
A última pergunta, você não conseguiu defender o seu cinturão no peso médio. O que significa você estar podendo talvez defender o cinturão agora no meio pesado?
Bom, esse é meu trabalho, a gente está ali tentando fazer o melhor, né? Foi o que eu tentei defender o cinturão, perdi, né? Mas isso, acho que não sou o primeiro que acontece isso, é todo mundo ali querendo ser um melhor do que o outro ali, querendo sair campeão. E eu tô com a mesma mente, eu sou um cara muito realista, né? Eu já não entro falando, ganhei, eu sei que eu posso perder, né? Mas a minha mente, eu tô ali para me ganhar.
Well, I get there to win, I lost, but you know what I mean, that's part of the game. I don't try to raise not too much high expectations. I got there to fight. I came here with a mindset to win and defend that belt.
Alex, right here. Jamahal was in here earlier, and someone asked him, because he has a lot of wins over Brazilians, and they asked, like, how are Brazilians this week treating you, the fans? And he said that your fans are a little different than just regular Brazilian MMA fans, but didn't quite get specific. So I'm curious, why do you think your fans are so different from just your casual Brazilian MMA fans?
O Jamal veio aqui mais cedo, né? E falou, os caras perguntaram para ele como é que é ter tanta vitória assim contra vários brasileiros e como é que é a interação com os fãs. Ele falou que interagir com seus fãs é uma coisa totalmente diferente do que com outro lutador brasileiro, qualquer outro lutador. Mas não foi específico como. O que você acha que ele quis dizer?
Não sei.
I don't know.
Do you take anything away from Jamahal calling Israel or Israel calling Jamahal to offer some advice ahead of this fight?
O que você tira do fato dele ter ligado para o Israel Adesanya e o Adesanya ter dado uns toques para ele no seu jogo?
Cara, eu já lutei várias vezes com a Adesanya. Eu acho que ele fez uma coisa boa ali, né, muito inteligente da parte dele, fazendo essa ligação, né, por vídeo, porque eu acho que se ele realmente ele vai treinar na academia do Adesanya e, pô, um exemplo, faz um sparring ali com ele, eu acho que seria uma frustração para ele e eu acho que isso não seria bom. Então, a melhor coisa que ele fez foi ter feito uma chamada de vídeo.
I think was good. I think actually the best thing that he could have done for himself, because actually if he had went and sparred with Israel Adesanya, it had been a big frustration for him, especially for the fact that Alex beat him so many times.
And one last one for me. Can I get your thoughts on the BMF fight between Max and Justin?
E o que você acha do título do BMF contra do Justin Gaethje contra o Max Holloway?
Não sei.
I don't know.
A lot of talk when people talk about you as your fast rise, and rightly so, you accomplished so much in MMA in such a short amount of time. So if everything goes your way on Saturday during this big card, what are some other things you want to check off your list to talk about mixed martial arts?
Pô, o pessoal fala aí da sua ascensão muito rápida que você teve no MMA, né? Todas essas conquistas. E o que você tem em mente aí, você ganhando sábado, quais seriam os seus próximos passos?
Bom, os passos é defender o cinturão, né? Eu acho que não tem um limite. Quando você é campeão, né? Você vai, as próximas lutas são defesa. Eu não, eu não, vocês veem que eu não dou nome, né? Quem eles colocar, eu vou lutar. Eu sou campeão, eu não tenho que escolher nada, né? E os próximos passos é as defesas. Não tem um plano.
Well, there's no plan, man. The next steps are keep defending the title unlimited times. I'm not the kind of guy that call out opponents because I'll fight anybody. I'm the champ. So I would just want to keep defending it.
How would you feel if the arena started chanting Chama during your fight?
Como é que você vai se sentir se a arena inteira começar a falar chama durante sua luta?
Pô, eu vou adorar, né? Porque a galera, aceitou isso e, tá muito legal.
I'm gonna love, man, because the crowd accepted that and it's something real cool for me.
Poatan, aqui, Poatan. Cara, você estreou no UFC no Madison Square Garden com um nocaute, depois de um ano depois você foi campeão dos médios, um ano depois campeão dos meio pesados e agora vai ser o último atleta a caminhar rumo ao octógono no UFC 300, que é o maior card da história. Se 3 anos atrás, depois que você venceu o Thomas Powell no LFA, você contasse essa história, você, Poatan, hoje, contasse essa história para aquele Poatan, qual que você acha que seria a reação?
Well, looking back 3 years ago, made your UFC debut. A year later, you won the middleweight title. And after 1 more year, you won the light heavyweight title. The Alex that is right now, looking back at the Alex that fought Thomas Powell at LFA before the UFC, what would you tell him?
Bom, eu iria ficar muito surpreso, né? Porque com certeza foi algo assim muito rápido. Mas como eu falo para todo mundo, eu já tinha uma história, né? É difícil alguém chegar assim, de outros eventos, né? Assim, eventos menores e chegar aqui e eles dar essa oportunidade, né? Me deram essa oportunidade, mas porque eu já tinha uma história, o Israel era o campeão, então eu tinha uma história com ele e isso facilitou, né? A minha chegada até disputar o título e fui campeão e acho que foi todo um trabalho muito bem feito.
Well, if I had told that Alex Pereira from then everything that happened, obviously be surprised because it was too fast, but also everything that happened was consequence of the work that I did before the organization, to the history that I had, with Israel Adesanya, that led me to get where I got here right now.
E o Poatan, como é que é para você dividir o card com o Charles? Tem até aquele vídeo, se eu não me engano, foi na porta da Chutebox lá em São Paulo, vocês ali em algum momento da carreira. Como é que é dividir esse momento com ele, que assim como você é um grande astro no Brasil, você acha que as histórias de vocês têm algo parecido e por isso vocês são tão cativantes para o público brasileiro?
And what does it feel to you to be part of the card that Charles Oliveira is part of too? Had a video a few years ago of you guys way back in the day training a shoot box together. He's also a hero for the Brazilian crowd. What does it mean to you to be on the same card as him?
Sim, da onde a gente saiu, né? Pô, aonde a gente chegou. Claro que o Charles já está uma longa caminhada aqui dentro do UFC, né? Mas pô, ele conseguiu, né? Pô, conseguiu o cinturão. Eu cheguei depois também, pô, consegui o cinturão. Dentro do UFC é um pouco diferente a nossa história, né? Mas lá fora as dificuldades, tudo que a gente passou, acho que é um pouco similar. E eu fico muito feliz, né? Pô, acho que aquele vídeo foi, acho que 5 anos atrás, né? E de lá para cá mudou muitas coisas e estou muito feliz com tudo.
No, man, it's good because, you know, we both came from similar beginnings, like humble beginnings, and even though that he's longer in the UFC than me, you know what I mean, but he became a champ, I became a champ, different histories, different pace, but we both came from humble beginnings. That video was made, I think, 5 years ago. We were in a way different place in life than we are right now, so that makes me really happy to see.
Alex, right here. Alex, a lot of fans they really enjoy your relationship with Poliana Viana. What is it about your personality and hers that has worked together so well, so quickly?
Muitos fãs gostam dessa interação que você tem com a Poliana. Vocês são duas pessoas muito engraçadas, assim, parece que é legal, os fãs gostam de ver isso aí. O que você acha assim que deu certo assim entre você e ela, assim, pro carinho dos fãs?
Bom, acho que a nossa simplicidade, a Poliana é uma pessoa assim muito simples, tá conquistando o seu espaço, vejo muito potencial nela e a gente estava conversando esses dias, né? Quem está no UFC, lógico, o sonho é se tornar campeã. E ela falou, esse é meu sonho. E eu falei, posso te ajudar, a equipe pode te ajudar, se você quer. Então, assim, é uma pessoa que é carismática e é por isso que as pessoas gostam dela. Assim, eu não sou, talvez, carismático, mas eu, sei lá, tenho o meu jeito e as pessoas gostam.
Well, I think the fact of her simplicity plays a big part of it, and I think that's what the fans like. I talked to her the other day, you know what I mean? Like, she's very humble, and asked what she looked for in the UFC. She said that she wanted to be a UFC champion. So I told her that me and my team can maybe help her get to that goal. You know what I mean? I think her charisma, she's very charismatic. I'm not as charismatic, you know what I mean? I think just fans like how I act, but I think this is that.
Alex, so, champ, can I ask, you said you will win this fight easily and then go back to Brazil and headline UNDI. And who will be next opponent for champ?
Você falou que ganhando essa luta aí, dando tudo certo, você lutaria no Brasil. Se lutar, seria com quem?
Bom, não tem ninguém em mente, não. Quem eles quisessem colocar.
I have nobody in mind, whoever they want to put on.
What's going on?
How are you, man? It's obviously been a bit of a break, but you're back. Huge card, fight week again. How's it feel to be sitting up there again?
It feels pretty good, man. Feels good. Just ready to get to Saturday, get in the cage, and get my hand raised.
Yeah, and you had the little interaction with Alex yesterday that kind of went around. What did you take away from that? Anything, or was it all just good vibes? You wanted your signature on your jacket?
Yeah, it was. I just took away the fact that I appreciate him taking the time out to sign that for me. It was just something that I wanted to get from this week. You know, I'm just enjoying the time that, you know what I mean, just my time. You know, life is but a vapor, so I'm going to enjoy it. This is a very special moment, very special card, very special week and fight, and I just want to take it in as much as possible.
Yeah, and kind of along that theme, you've talked about your story and some of the difficult times you've come through in your life to reach a moment like this. Like, do you reflect on what you've been through, or do you do that after?
Yeah, that's something for after. That's something to, well, as you said, reflect on. The job ain't done yet.
Yeah, and just last thing for me, of course, endless speculation about the injury and the recovery and stuff. Do you remember the day during your rehab, whatever it was, where you got back in there and you're like, this feels right now. I'm ready to go towards a fight again.
I've been feeling like I was ready to go for a while, but I listened to the team, I listened to the doctors, and So I don't know. I don't really have an answer for that, for the simple fact of I've been ready to go since I got hurt.
When you get in the cage on Saturday, is that when you're only going to 100% get that confidence back in it, or is that not even lingering in your mind?
What? I don't even know how you even came forward that question from what I just said. What?
Fair. No, fair enough.
Am I only going to get 100? That was strange.
Jamahal, talk to me about the mentality for this fight, right? You were the champion. You had to give that up through injury. You didn't lose that through a fight. So do you feel like on Saturday you're defending your title, or are you using this as an opportunity to be the challenger, climbing to the top once again?
I just feel like whoever wins Saturday night is the champion. That's just how I feel about it.
Obviously, when everyone talks about Alex and his fighting style, the calf kicks is something that comes up again and again. I saw you post something on your TikTok sort of talking about those and making light of it. Do you have a strategy in mind for those calf kicks, or do you think, hey, he has to worry about what I'm doing, not the other way around?
I have a strategy for everything. You know what I mean? You should have a strategy for everything. You shouldn't want to get hit with anything. So, yeah, I plan on dealing with every weapon that he has.
Obviously, you got to talk to your friend Israel Adesanya about Alex. How good a resource was that just to be able to call him up and get some tips from him?
It's an invaluable resource to just be able to reach out and pick at one of the best minds in combat sports and have him who's had more experience with Alex than I think anybody that Alex has ever fought. So it was good. It was a great conversation.
Jamahal over here. How's it going?
What's up, James?
The rest of camp looked like it went really well. I know you train with a variety of different partners. Are there any names that you train with that maybe we don't know about that we should be knowing about in the gym?
Yeah, for sure. I'd love to get a shout out to my guy, Big Dog, Brett Martin. Brett Martin has been my secret weapon for my camps since I came into the UFC and since we linked up. He's a heavyweight. He's a big boy. He's another guy who don't get any love just because of his physique and things like that. You know, people talk about my body. Bro's body's pretty tough, but his abilities are unmistakable and they're incredible. They keep me sharp. I'm always able to bounce things off of him and learn with him and grow with him in the gym. You know, whenever he comes in and we're working, we get after it. And he knows me pretty well now, so he's able to actually shape out some other challenges and things like that for me. And yeah, he's been invaluable. I've also worked with a couple of the guys that were local from that fight for the bare knuckle, Mohawk Esteban Rodriguez, and Eric Lozano. Couple of tough, they're tough. Esteban's he's tall, long, rangy, and he fights.
And speaking of Michigan, how cool is it having Cody Brundage on this card? You both used to fight for Lights Out Fighting or Lights Out Promotion. Have you spoken to him this week?
I haven't seen Cody yet, but yeah, that is actually pretty dope. They asked me who I wouldn't mind being in my locker room. I told them definitely I would like to have Cody Brundage in my locker room. It's special. It's definitely special. Just that for me and him, because he was the last fight before Contender Series. He was on that card. We were on the same card before I joined the UFC. Obviously, I went on Contender Series. And ended up getting signed. He went on Contender Series and was later signed. And now both on main card, UFC 300 is wild. So yeah, that is pretty dope.
And just last one for me, not looking past Saturday, but do you have kind of like a timeline of like how often you want to fight this year? Is it just about, opportunities and location and all that? Like, how do you sort of determine your schedule after Saturday if all goes well?
I haven't looked past Saturday, so I'm just focused, locked in on Saturday. I want to make sure I get the result that I want Saturday, and that's the main focus.
Jamahal, to your right. I noticed earlier you quoted Ecclesiastes saying that life is but a vapor. During this process from the injury now going into this fight, what do you feel like you've been taught most?
Even more so, appreciate the moments. Yeah, appreciate the moments. Just, it could have all been over it really could have all been over for me. There are athletes who have suffered this same injury who had to call it a quits on their hopes and their dreams. And I'm fortunate enough to now be in a time and was in a position to where the best medicine available was available to me. And I was able to take advantage of that and use the resources to make my way back and come back in a time that people really just can't seem to believe. So,
Thank you.
Jamahal. Jamahal here.
What's going on?
You already fought and won against 4 Brazilians. Alex Pereira is the 5th, and it's a big name out of Brazil right now. How was the experience to deal once again with the Brazilian audience on social media?
The Brazilian audience is different than Alex's audience, so it's been a different experience this time, I'll say.
And I would like to know from you, if somebody told you 3 years ago that you would be headlining UFC 300, would you believe that? What would you think at that time?
If somebody told me I'd be headlining UFC 300 at the time, I'd believe it. I believe it because I know myself and I know the belief I've always held in myself. But it would have got me hype. It would have definitely had me excited. You know, I don't know. I just always planned on being in these moments and being in this situation ever since I was a kid. Like, you can even ask my dad. My dad is here right now, you know. Just from the time I was a kid, I just always believed that whatever I did, I was going to be one of the best at it. For a time, it was football. For a time, it was basketball. Whenever I sat in on fighting, I knew I would be here in moments like this, fighting for championships and able to have an opportunity to put myself up there with the greatest names to ever do it.
Thank you.
I know that there's a lot of talk about Alex Pereira's fast rise in MMA coming from the kickboxing scene, but it was just in 2019 when you won a Contender Series contract, and this time last year you were originally supposed to fight in a Fight Night headline, and you got the shoulder squad fight Glover, which you won, became the first Contender Series graduate to do so and become champion. So do you think people are kind of putting to the side your fast rise in this sport and to now ultimately headline UFC 300 as well?
I don't know. I don't care. That's not important at all. Like, he's a great fighter. That was his opportunity to show his greatness. His opportunity came fast, and he stepped up to the occasion, and that's good on him, you know. And I feel I've done the same with the opportunities that I've been given. So this is just that next opportunity.
Yeah, I was just mentioning because you also went up through a fast rise, but that image when you and Alex were looking at each other after you beat Glover went around in the lead up to this fight. Did you ever imagine that would be the root of such a thing like a UFC 300 main event?
No, because it was just a handshake. He was over shaking my corner's hand. I went over and shook his corner's hand. So that's pretty much what that was. But I did see that he could possibly be an opponent in the future, and I was excited for it. I wanted him to win. When I got hurt and I had to give up the belt, it was like, all right, what's the best course? What's the best that can happen now? Because somebody else is going to win the belt. Who better than Alex to win the belt? Like, you know, y'all think y'all, and he is. You know, he's the 2-division glory champion, 2-division UFC champion, kickboxing great, hands of stone, bad man, just a monster, dangerous, scary dude. He's all those things. But watch what I do to him.
Jamahal, first and foremost, I like your shoe selection. Very nice. And
Wait. You know I tore my Achilles in this. Yeah. It was hard for me to put these on today.
and is there any truth that, did you go to the same doctor as Aaron Rodgers?
Yes. Well, Aaron Rodgers went to the same doctor as me.
Did you guys, you mentioned that you played football. Did you guys have any conversations, you and Aaron? I know he's big MMA.
No. I've never met Aaron, so I never like talked to him or anything like that. No.
Gotcha. The Jets could use somebody like you against the ball. But speaking of quarterbacks and Super Bowl, like UFC 300 is kind of like a Super Bowl, big time. It's going to be a lot of focus on you. On one of your fights on the walkouts, I heard the commentators talking about your calmness and your coolness. Do you believe that you have that clutch, the attribute, the trait that you can just come through in the biggest moments?
Yeah, that's something I just know. I just trust myself. That's one of the biggest things that I hang my hat on is the fact that I know that just naturally I show up. It's who I am. It's what I do.
Weili. Hello. Obviously, a big marquee fight week here before UFC 300, before your fight against Xiaonan. So I guess what are the emotions now that fight camp is over and you just have to weigh in and then fight on Saturday?
我心情特别开心，然后也很放松，也很期待的这次比赛。
I'm very happy, very relaxed, and I'm really looking forward to the fight.
You fought on some big cards before in Las Vegas, Madison Square Garden, in Boston. So I guess where does this fight rank? Do you feel the magnitude of this fight week?
当然 ，UFC 300，12个前任冠军跟现任冠军，中国第一次的德比，这次是我职业生涯非常重要的一个比赛。而且我在 T-Mobile 之前在拉斯维加斯，我跟 Joanna 创造了年度最佳的比赛，然后我也非常喜欢拉斯维加斯。
Of course, because this UFC 300, it's a historic moment. We have 12 former and also current champions on this card. Also, the first time two Chinese fighters fighting to get the belt, champion belt. Also, last time I was fighting in Vegas was against Xiaonan, and we had the best performance. So I'm super excited about this fight.
Do you feel the importance of this fight, given what you said, two Chinese fighters fighting for the title? Do you feel how important this is to your country, or do you also kind of just view it as just another title defense?
我觉得对，从我个人来讲，肯定是我觉得这是一场比赛。不管从小男孩从我来说，肯定是一场比赛。但是我觉得对于中国 MMA 来说，肯定是一个新的进步的台阶吧。
This is another fight for me, but on the other hand, this also means so much for the MMA sports development and growth in China.
Jan was in here and joked that more people back in China support you than her. So why do you think that is?
其实每一个人都有自己的粉丝，我看到也有很多人支持他的，对，就是我觉得有支持他的，也有支持我的，每个人喜欢的拳手也不一样。
I do see a divided fan base, but everybody has his own fan base.
In terms of her skill set, does she present anything that you haven't faced before in the octagon?
我觉得小南这2年他的摔柔和他的力量进步了非常多。
I see Xiaonan that she has grown a lot, especially in her strength, as well as her grappling on the ground and everything. Yeah.
And final two for me. Can I get your thoughts on the fight between Alex and Jamahal and Justin and Max?
我其实一般很少去预测比赛，因为我觉得在赛场上什么都有可能发生，而且就是看谁的状态更好。对。
I don't really like to predict the outcome because anything can happen, and a lot of factors contributing to the outcome of the fight.
然后这也就是 MMA 的魅力，一切都是不确定性。
This is the beauty of mixed martial arts.
Weili over here. Weili, you were recently featured in Harper's Bazaar, China. I was just wondering, how did you enjoy that experience of the photo shoot and the article they did?
Do you mind to repeat that question, please?
Yes, she was recently featured in Harper's Bazaar magazine in China. How did she enjoy the article and the experience of the photo shoot?
你好像有
对那篇描述我的文章，那篇文章描述了些什么呢？我要想一想。对，然后 那篇文章描述了啥来着？
那你就说说你当时给巴莎的就那个整个的经历，你的感受吧。
啊，我觉得巴莎它是一个非常专业的时尚的一个杂志，然后那次拍摄也是非常知名，在中国非常知名的摄影师帮我拍摄，也是我很早就之前的知道的一个摄影师陈曼，然后他帮我拍摄。
That's a very professional fashion magazine. Also, the photographer, she was very well known in China, so that was a great experience.
And then we know we've seen you obviously grapple with Francis Ngannou and picking him up, but you also got some work in and were training a bit with Merab. I was just wondering, how was that experience?
我觉得不一样的感受。我觉得抱纳甘诺的时候，我没有觉得那么重，但是我跟梅拉布训练摔跤的时候，他的跤感非常的好，他的那个打摔结合也非常好，我也跟他学习到很多。
I did not feel Ngannou was that heavy, but when I was training with Merab, I was really surprised by how good he was on his ground game. Yeah.
Really. Speaking of showing your strength and that, you also picked up Shaq back in September. Can you tell us about that experience with him and how difficult was it to pick him up?
他说我把那个谁，把他举起来了是吧？然后呢，然后什么感觉？让我描述一下。OK， 他本来是，你有什么要 ？OK， 就是。他很吃惊，我把他抱起来了吧。然后当时我觉得，可能他小的时候被妈妈抱过，然后长了这么大以后，估计没有人把他抱起来吧。我觉得。
He was quite surprised I was able to lift him up. I guess that maybe he was being lifted by his mom when he was little, but never after became adult. So he was pretty surprised I could do that.
And of course, focused on this fight, rightfully so. But do you feel like Tatiana Suarez is the next contender after this, or is there someone else right now that you think is more deserving to fight the winner of this?
我觉得看一看 UFC 怎么安排吧，因为我现在只想专注我当下的比赛。
I'll let UFC to do the matchmaking. Right now, I just wanted to focus on my fight.
Weili, you've had an incredible rise, becoming the first Chinese champion in promotion history right over here. Can you speak about your journey and your rise upcoming up to UFC 300?
我成长经历，哇 ，long story， Oh my god 。其实我简短的说一下吧，就是我把一个大的目标分成很多小的目标，然后不断完成小的目标的时候，我发现大的目标离我很近了。然后我也非常感谢 UFC 的平台，然后可以让我实现梦想。
I usually have a really big objective, and I divide them into small goals. So as I achieving incremental goals, then I realize I am not that far from my big objective. On the other hand, I'm really thankful for the platform the UFC provided for me.
Back here. Speaking of training with Merab, I know you've been training at Syndicate MMA here in Vegas, and John Wood is the coach over there. I've heard nothing but great things about the entire team there. And John Wood, how has training there and being coached by John attributed to your success in your evolution as a fighter?
我跟 Big Wu 的教练，其实在我跟卡拉打的时候已经合作了，我们已经这是第3次的训练营了。我觉得我们合作非常默契，也非常融洽。他的很多思想，然后跟我们非常的融合。然后他是一个非常有经验的教练，而且我像水一样，我们一直在追求的这个。
We actually started working together since my fight with Carla. So we've been working together for a while. I think he's super smart, and we align on our vision, our style, how to train together. So it's been a very good working experience.
Weili, the last time you were in Vegas was against Xiaonan in that epic fight. Are you excited to be back in Las Vegas?
对，我特别的兴奋，然后可以再回到拉斯维加斯，因为我觉得拉斯维加斯是我好运的地方。
Yes, I feel this is my lucky place, my lucky city.
Okay, thank you, everyone.
Obviously, we've been talking about this fight against Weili for quite some time, but now that it's fight week here on this milestone that is UFC 300. I guess what are the emotions now that you just have to weigh in and then fight on Saturday?
我觉得这是我的第一场 UFC 的挑战冠军的比赛，而且我跟张小丽打，这个时间和地点都是最完美的，也是 UFC 300，太完美了。
This is my first title fight versus Weili in Las Vegas, UFC 300. The opponent, timing, location, everything is perfect.
Well, kind of going off of that, I think a lot of people expected maybe you to fight on that Shanghai card when they had originally announced it, but was UFC 300 kind of always the original date that they had told you?
我没有锁定过目标，就是我没有锁定过目标去打 UFC 300，正好这个时机啊，天时地利人和，你能翻译吗？都刚刚好，所以说，对，这个是完美的。
Actually, I never lock my goal or upcoming fight on any location or date or like UFC 300, but we just get here. Either good timing, perfect timing. Yeah, so we just make it happen. Yeah.
And speaking of Weili as an opponent, like Daniel Cormier has said, she might be the most athletic fighter he's ever seen. A lot of people think, she's kind of this perfect, well-rounded fighter. I'm curious, how do you view her skill set in there?
他确实就是给大家，就是每场比赛打得很精彩嘛，给大家呈现的也是很强。但是我觉得我也很强，我也可以展现最棒的我。
Yeah, Weili is a great fighter. As her fight, she showcased to everybody. But I also believe myself. I'm also a good fighter, completed fighter. I think I will show you guys the best version of myself.
And a lot of people, obviously, they point to the fact that this is the first time two Chinese fighters are fighting for a title. Do you view the importance of this fight, or do you just view it as another card against a champion and you're going for the title?
我觉得都重要，但是让我选的话，还是拿到冠军是最重要的。
Yeah, both the China versus China and get the UFC title are important to me. But if you let me choose one, which one is more important? Get the title.
And last one for me. Can I get your thoughts on the main event between Alex and Jamahal and the BMF fight between Justin and Max?
盖奇和霍洛威的话，我喜欢盖奇，他的打拳我特别喜欢。完了，我选盖奇，完了还有佩雷拉。
So for Justin Gaethje and Max Holloway, I would pick Gaethje because I like his boxing. So yeah, I think Gaethje can win. And for the main event, Pereira.
Jan, last time we spoke, after your last win in May, we talked about this potential title fight, and you said that the people in China maybe don't support you as much as Weili. Have you felt that sentiment change now that this is booked, now that you're in this title fight? Like, do you feel like people are coming around to you at home more than they were before?
没有变化，还是更多人支持他。但是我有我的家人和我的朋友，还有我的教练团队支持我。
Nothing has really changed. Still more people support Weili. But, I have my family. I have my team. All the people, my people will support me. To me, that's enough.
Jan, I was wondering, last year, what was it like training with the LA Rams?
She visited the practice, the training camp there.
How was the experience?
你觉得那个体验怎么样？看姑娘们训练。
我感觉太酷了，之前我都没见过。
Yeah, it's super cool. I never saw or participated in any American football training before.
Hello. Justin, you've had a lot of fights, you've had a lot of big fights, but UFC 300 for the BMF belt against someone like Max Holloway, this one must feel pretty special.
They all feel special. It's such a great little adventure that I put myself on, a long time ago when I chose to, take this path. I never would have thought it would have led me to UFC 300, but here we are.
You mentioned ahead of this fight that, respectfully, you would like to finish Max, but maybe not put him out cold, just finally be the first person to sort of crack that chin we talk about so much. For him, do you think he's going to have put on a lot of size to be able to match you for power to keep himself in there, or do you think he can come in this fight in other ways and find success?
Man, it's a lot of what ifs and what I think. I don't know. I love getting in there, finding out. I'll know early if he's punching hard enough for me to take chances or be more cautious. I'll find that out early. And I think this is very different than the time he fought Poirier, as that was a late replacement. I think he's had this whole camp, being able to keep and maintain that weight. And I do think he's going to be as big as me and as strong as me.
You mentioned he's quick to disregard that fight with Dustin for the reason you just said. Do you even look at that fight and think, well, there are things I can take from that? Or do you have to think, no, I can't really relate that max to this one?
If I'm watching that fight, it has nothing to do with the size or anything like that. It's all about technique, you know, and I can find his technique in all of his fights, all of them, you know. He's a very different fighter from fight to fight, just as all of us are. You know, we're all constantly making adjustments. And, you know, I won't be sure which max I'm going to fight until that bell rings.
What would it mean to you to be the first guy to drop him?
Yeah,
and finish him?
it would mean a lot. You know, I have 25 wins, 19 knockouts. I've really taken pride in that, you know, since the beginning of my career. And, you know, to be the first one, I like being first. So, yeah, I'm ready.
What are the stakes in this fight for you? Obviously, there's a BMF belt on the line, right? But we're hearing talks that maybe Dustin could be fighting for the lightweight title next. Are you even thinking about that, or do you just have to think, hey?
No, I know with the win here, I fight for the belt. I know with the loss here, that all goes away. So that's what I'm fighting for.
Is there a chance, if Islam were to fight in June, you could end up being called to fight back in Abu Dhabi? And is that something you'd even consider?
I don't play what ifs, but, you know, you don't pass up a championship opportunity. You know, I do want my time. I do think June would probably be impossible for me, as every time I fight is a traumatic life experience, and I need to go home. I need to, you know, unwind, take care of my body, take care of my head. But I have coaches and a manager that ultimately make those decisions. So if they say go, I go.
This one right here. Throughout media day, the general consensus is that no one else is competing for fight of the night amongst the fighters. They're all like, we have to get a performance bonus because Justin and Max are fighting on this card.
Yeah.
Like, do you kind of take pride in that like even your fellow fighters are like, we're not even going to try for this?
Yeah, I mean, having the respect of your peers is something I think we all, you know, shoot for. Not just that, but the respect of the UFC to give me this opportunity. Every time you see someone in this thing, you only see the Gaethje versus Holloway thing on the television, so it looks like it's the main event.
Well, kind of going off of that, was there any chance that you would have just been the actual main event before they added Alex and Jamahal?
Wrong dude. I don't know.
What do you make of the custom fight kits?
I love it. Yeah, they called me. They said, what do you want? I said, I want to represent the United States of America. If I ever had a chance, that's what I asked for a long time ago. You know, I didn't want to go full Apollo Creed because I don't like to be flashy. And yeah, I mean, anytime I can represent my country, you know, this is such a worldwide sport, and not a lot of people truly represent this country, and you know, I'm that guy.
Speaking of the custom shorts, Max had input on his design on the floor. Did you have any input on yours, or was it just you told him, hey, I want this, this, and this?
I said I wanted to look like a U.S. flag, and then I sent them a picture of you know, those shades, those colors, black and gray. You know, I wasn't looking for anything special. I don't need to be shiny or flashy. I do my talking with my fists.
Fair enough. So there's also footage of you celebrating Dustin Poirier's win over Jamahal Hill when he got the knockout. Is that a guy that, no matter what time you're in, he's going to be like one of those guys you always have respect for in and out of the cage?
Yeah, I mean, for one, I'm always going to cheer for my fellow Americans, you know, and especially I love to see these vets and us old guys holding off these young lions. They're coming for us, but the longer we can hold them off, the better for me, the better for all of us. The longer I stick around.
Justin, just curious. After we spoke the other day, a couple of the things were, you know, maybe Mark Coleman wrapping the belt around the winner of this and some $300,000 bonuses. Any word on either of those things might happen from what you've heard?
Oh, I haven't asked. I won't ask nobody. I think the $300,000 thing is a little bit, you know, a little bit far-fetched, but I think $100,000 is probably, hopefully going to happen. They did it for UFC 100. Can't see why. You know, we're all making a lot more money now than from UFC 100. So I think 100 G's is good for every finish on the card.
Justin, down here to your right, you fought a lot of high caliber fighters throughout your career. Where does Max Holloway rank in that list?
I mean, Tony Ferguson, Dustin Poirier, Cowboy Cerrone. I mean, these guys are all, you know, future Hall of Famers. So it's huge. It's huge for my legacy. It's huge for my resume. You know, I've been watching this guy. I'm older than him, but I was watching him way before I ever thought about being in the UFC. And yeah, this is the guy that I looked up to. So it's cool to see how far I've come and where hard work will get you.
And I remember after your interim title win, you didn't really want anything to do with the belt, but with this BMF belt, not to say that you're parading it around everywhere with you, but obviously you hold it seemingly in high regard. Would that be a fair assessment?
Again, I think it's awesome. You know, I wouldn't, if I didn't have the respect of the company that I fought for, I would not be in this position. That's what I'm most proud of, you know, and also the fans. The fans respect it. The fans in turn respect me. It adds a little bit more of a spectacle to my fights, and this is the entertainment business. So, you know, I like that much.
Thank you.
Over here, Justin. Back to the shorts. Do you think Bryce Mitchell should be upset or proud for paving the way of fighting for custom shorts and how easily you guys got them for this card?
I don't think it was easy. I've been working a long time for this, but yeah, I don't know. Sure, I'll give him credit. I like it. I like his camo shorts.
Justin, you win on Saturday night in spectacular fashion, right over here, and to your right, right here. Justin, you win on Saturday night in spectacular fashion, and for some reason they don't honor the title bout next. What is it, just next man up, or is there someone in mind?
No, there's going to be two contenders coming out of this fight night. You know, this pay-per-view. The winner of Tsarukyan and Oliveira is going to be a contender, and the winner of the Holloway and myself is going to be a contender. I believe Makachev is going to fight at least twice this year, and so I think we'll both fight him.
Are you looking forward to any of the fights in the card besides yours?
I mean, I'm a huge fan of the sport. You know, I don't wish, I'm glad I'm on it. But if I wasn't on the card, I would certainly be in attendance, and there would be, I love fights. I love fighting, and I love watching fights. I love the atmosphere. You know, I love that people understand what they're going to get when I walk out, and the atmosphere kind of changes. I can feel the intensity shift, and, you know, I love being that.
Justin, have you gotten out to the Vegas links? Golf?
A specific golf club? No, I played Cascada and I played Rio Seco while I was here last Thursday and then Sunday, and then unfortunately I have to do a bunch of interviews, so I can't golf these days. Not bad. I shot a 93 and a 90. My swing is disgusting, but, you know, I shoot well. I'm a quarter mile at a time kind of guy. I do not look too far ahead. I honestly have no clue what the future holds. I don't usually plan on being alive the day after my fight, so hopefully I'm there on Sunday.
Max, welcome to Fight Week, but not just any Fight Week, UFC 300 Fight Week. You know, you've been atop of these amazing cards before. You've been in title fights before, but does this one feel a little bit extra special?
For sure. You know, first things first, you got to ask Connor, what are you laughing about on your comment, brother?
Yeah, I did see that. I didn't know what to...
Yeah. Go ask him. Go ask him what are you laughing about. Hopefully he can get Lucky Charm shorts or something. Good for him, you know?
We are talking, of course, about the floral pattern shorts you've got for this fight. Yeah, did post it. Connor did put a laughing emoji on it, but curious how you feel about being able to rep them in the octagon.
I loved it. I loved it, man. I loved it. You know, it came together real quick. Being able to use it here at UFC 300, hopefully they leave it for me so I can keep using it every fight. So we see what happens.
Do you think that's important for athletes to be able to represent themselves and sort of express themselves on ways other than just, you know, their fights?
I think it's cool. Yeah, I think it's a great way. You know, put a little flavor in it. You know, I guess so. I understand the whole uniform look because we're trying to, you know, go after, like, you know, follow other major sporting leagues. So at the end of the day, I get it, but to have your own flavor, and finally I get mine. I mean, the people wanted it. You know what I mean? So where's Hunter? Where's Dana? Tell the numbers of the sales because I want to see. I'm pretty sure that floor shorts is popping.
Justin Gaethje, right? Obviously a phenomenal fighter, BMF. When this fight was announced, I saw the reaction with someone was like, oh, he hits too hard for Max. You know, a guy who's never been dropped before in the octagon. When you see those comments and people apparently being concerned for you and about your career after this fight, do you just think, okay, well, we'll see on Saturday?
We find out. You know, that's the beautiful thing. Every time I did any of these interviews, go watch it all Fight Week. Every time they ask me what is the main thing? When you come to think of Justin, what do you think of this fight? I think of violence, and this happens. You know, I smile. This is what real fighters is about. Justin's a BMF. The beautiful thing is everybody has questions, and we have the answers come UFC 300 Saturday night.
I've been watching your YouTube channel, great content on there. I recommend everyone go watch it. You've been showing yourself bulking up for this fight a bit more than you did for that Dustin fight. How do you feel now walking around ready for a lightweight title fight?
Brother, I mean, it is what it is. You know, I talked about this earlier today. I hate talking about it, but, you know, that Dustin fight was, it is what it is, you know. My manager is calling me Muffin Top Max this whole camp, you know. So at the end of the day, that's what it was, you know, for this fight. And we wanted to put on the right weight. We wanted to put on, we wanted to be smart. We wanted to be strong, but we still wanted to be fast. So I think we found a very even ground, and you guys get to see come Saturday night.
There was a quote from your coach on one of your video blogs where he said, Max already has a BMF belt and it's in his chest. Do you think, comparing your skills to Gaethje's, that this could come down to whose heart is bigger? And do you think you beat him in that category?
We see what happens, you know. We see what happens. I think a true BMF is a guy who, you know, who's willing to fight and go in there like gladiator days, you know. And he said it before. If he was, like I said, when I'm a gladiator, he said in gladiator, he would have fight to the death, you know, in a Coliseum. So the beautiful thing is, we get to find out, man. We get to find out. Attrition is going to be a big thing in this sport, I believe, in this fight with him, and we get to find out.
Max, we're here. Just one last quick one on the jump up to lightweight. Was that a conscious decision after the Dustin fight, like coming off of that? Like, if I ever go back up to lightweight, I have to approach this differently, or was that just a change right now for the Dustin?
I mean, the Dustin time, I hate talking about it. I hate saying it. They came with an opportunity, and opportunities like that, you do not say no. You know, it was just a time thing. With the Justin one, I think it was like 6 weeks or whatever, and if you count down the 2 weeks that you kind of come down from training week, that's like a 4 week, you know what I mean? So at the end of the day, real fighters stay ready, like I always said. And I felt like I was ready. If you go watch that Dustin fight, there's a couple of things that I had to change, and, you know, the outcome is different, you know what I mean? And now we had 10 weeks, 10, 11 weeks, I don't know what it is for this fight. You guys get to see the difference, you know? A lot of people like looking in the past. A lot of people like searching for stuff. They keep forgetting what's right in front of them, you know? And you guys are going to see come Saturday night.
Justin has obviously famously declared himself the most exciting fighter in the UFC. I'm curious, do you agree with that, or do you kind of put yourself above that?
I mean, how are you going to disagree with him? The guy had, 12 fights in the UFC, 12 bonuses? Brother, that speaks for itself. It is what it is. I'm just excited to be sharing the octagon with him come UFC 300 on a big event like this. When you got a card like this, the spotlight like this on us, being the people main event already, you know, I think we can still show the UFC pushing. Every time I see an ad on UFC for UFC 200, it's me and Justin. So at the end of the day, Tim, Daniel, someone needs to get on the phone with Dana and Hunter, and we got to talk numbers about some things, because it's looking kind of funny.
And Justin said that I think the ideal scenario for him would be doctor stoppage, because he doesn't really want to put you out cold, because he has respect for you. So I'm curious, what do you think of that prediction?
I mean, it's cool, you know, it's cool. I don't want to put the man out cold either, but it's the fight game. That's what we love, you know. Like I said, for 25 minutes, I'm going to go in there. He's going to come for my neck. I'm going to come for his neck. And, you know, after we can hug it out, you know, go get a beer. I mean, I don't drink beer. He can get his beer. Maybe I get a shot with him, and, you know, we get a pizza or something.
And last one for me. Can I get your thoughts on the main event between Alex and Jamahal?
I think it's going to be a fun one. I think a lot of people are calling out Jamahal just because he only as good as his last fight. And Jamal's last fight was what? Like, I don't know, how long was he out? 15 months, brother. Like, nobody even cares, you know. That's just what it is, you know. And then you see him posting funny videos, and everybody keep hating on him like us fighters don't have a life outside of training. So at the end of the day, I think it's gonna be a crazy fight. Both of them have crazy power. You know, everybody talk about Alex's power, and I think Jamahal has that crazy power too. How much time he made a man in Johnny Walker do like something crazy after getting hit. That was kind of amazing. So I think it's going to be a tough fight, man. It's a pick'em fight. It's a coin toss, and I'm glad that I get to be here and witness it.
Max, people were very excited by your idea to have Mark Coleman wrap the title. Justin was in full agreement. Any update? Is this going to happen on Saturday?
I didn't see it, but I heard he's going to be here, and he'd probably be in Dana White's section, right? So, I mean, even if he's there, maybe if I see him or Justin see him, maybe we just tell him go in the cage. You know, who's gonna stop him from entering the octagon? You know, good luck.
Justin also said he wants $300,000 bonuses for this for UFC 300. Can you use some of your sway? You've been here for a long time. Are you gonna?
Oh yeah, brother. I'm going to. When we did a fighter meeting, we always have fighter meeting. I'm gonna throw it out there. I'm gonna say 500K, so we can start. We can start going back. Okay, at 400 and 300. I'm like, final offer 150. Come on. This is UFC 300. It's huge. The two guys that is pushing the fight is asking for it. Why not?
Yep, I agree. And I remember you said at one point when you were growing out the hair that you were never going to come into a fight week with short hair again. Why did you change your mind?
I mean, just because you guys a lot of people is forgetting who Max Bless Holloway was. They need a reminder. UFC 300 was the time, and you guys are about to see a whole different animal,
Hey, Max, right here. Max, so I saw on your Instagram you built the Max Holloway Fitness Center and the Why Not Clubhouse for the Boys and Girls Club. I mean, obviously, as a guy who's been very impacted by martial arts, what did it mean to you personally to be able to give back to your community at that level?
It meant a lot, I mean, being able to give back to my community at the Why Not Boys and Girls Club was huge. I always wanted to do something for my community, so it meant a lot. They also gave me the health and fitness ambassador of the Boys and Girls Club, so that was huge. But to be able to have that little gym spot in there, to have kids train safe and be smart and do the right decision, Like when we went open, I told the kids, a lot of them is scrappy already, So hopefully we can grab all that energy and put it in the right direction, Hopefully 5, 10 years, 15 years, some kid from that gym that started that gym or even just touched and trained in that gym might be sitting in front of you one day, and that would be mission complete.
Max, back here. You've already left such a strong legacy at featherweight. I really don't know that you have anything left to prove there. Is lightweight going to be your new weight class, or do you plan on going back down to 145?
We see what happens. In this sport, having options is always good. And first things first is Justin Gaethje, but there's a fun fight down there that a man keeps talking. And I keep hearing, so my only advice to that guy is like, when the contract come up, sign the dotted line, don't make no excuses.
You fought here in 9,000 many different times, but this occasion, right, where does this occasion rank amongst all the time you fought here in 9,000, given the magnitude of the event?
Oh, this is huge, bro. This is huge. This is the hugest. This is UFC 300. What more can I ask for? Like I said, every time we fight in Hawaii, you guys, every time we fight in Las Vegas, the 9th island, you guys see all the Hawaiian flags. You know what I mean? And being UFC 300, being this big, being on a card like this, being on a history card, it's going to be huge. You guys are going to see Hawaiian flags swarm that damn arena like always, and I'm just blessed to be a part of this.
Max.
Not really, man. Dustin and Gaethje is two different animals, two different beasts, two different fighting styles, two different stances, and two different ways of attack. So we see what happens, I feel like I'm a vet in this game. I fought a who's who, and at the end of the day, this is another guy up there that I got to figure out when I get in there. So we find out UFC 200.
Max over here. So if you get BMF title, probably next matchup for you is new champion Ilia Topuria. And what do you think about that?
Questionable. That's it. Questionable. That guy, everybody keep asking me, what do I think of Topuria?
Yeah, fighting Topuria.
He's questionable. I'll fight him. You go ask him that question. Ask him that question about me. At the end of the day, UFC, I always wanted to fight for the title. I always want to do this. A lot of contenders, they gave me a lot of up-and-coming contenders, and then there's one that didn't come up towards my way. So you can ask UFC about that. You can ask him the question.
Charles right here. Obviously, you've been in some pretty massive fight weeks, but it doesn't get much bigger than UFC 300. So I guess what are the emotions now that fight camp's over and just got to make weight and then fight on Saturday?
Cara, de verdade, feliz demais com tudo que vem acontecendo. Já lutei, como você mesmo falou, grandes eventos, mas um evento como esse aqui é um evento mágico, é um evento que fala muito daquilo que eu venho falando sobre deixar o legado. Com certeza isso aqui nunca vai ser apagado.
I'm just very happy, as you said, like I've fought in numerous events, but you talking about an event like this, which is like magical and something that we always talk about, which is actually a legacy, this cannot be erased.
And when they came to you with Arman, did that get you excited, or were you excited to just have a fight in general? And what do you make of all the things that Arman's been saying about you leading up to this fight?
Cara, na realidade foi um contexto geral. Pela essa proporção que ele vem trazendo, com esse boom que ele vem levando, que é o novo garoto. Então, isso aqui é bom para mim, né? Por ser um evento como esse. Então, na realidade, é algo gigante. E sobre o que ele fala, na realidade, eu nem ligo. É mais um dos que falaram, e todos aqueles que falaram, vocês viram o que aconteceram.
Actually, it's like a general context. The fact that he is coming up as an up-and-comer in the organization, that he's kind of been on a boom, and it's taken more, a different proportion, a fight with him, what's at stake as well, and also just to be in an event like this and be part of this event in this organization. As for what he said, I mean, everyone has said the same thing. People have said this many times, and look at what happened to every single one of them that said something like that.
He was also in here, and when we asked him if it was actually personal with him, he said he's just trying to sell the fight. It's not actually personal. So what do you make of, like, he doesn't necessarily believe what he's saying. He's just trying to, you know, build the interest in the fight with the fans.
Com certeza, isso aí eu aprendi. São 14 anos aqui dentro. Alguns deles falam para tentar vender, alguns falam para tentar entrar na mente. Na realidade, para mim não faz diferença nenhuma. Eu só vendo a luta de uma forma. Depois que fecha o cage. Depois que fecha o cage, aí eu vendo a luta. Você sabe como que é. Eu só ando para frente. Sou um leão lá dentro caçando.
I think this is something I've learned. I mean, it's 14 years here, so I completely understand. Some people sell the fight in a different way. Some people are going to say things, and it doesn't matter. Like, I saw the fight in just one way. When that door closes, I'm a lion hunting. That's what I do. That's my style of selling a fight.
And I'm curious if you saw, he did a fan Q&A in Miami before UFC 299, and a lot of the fans antagonized him, and they were very pro-Charles and said, like, you know, Charles is going to choke you out, Charles is going to do this to you, and they didn't have many positive things to say. So I'm curious, like, do you see these fans, like, even though he trains in Miami, they're still on your side?
Eu amo todos eles. É o amor que a gente sente. É um carinho gigantesco, eu respeito todo mundo me respeita. Eu estava muito feliz. Eu não estava no local, mas era como se eu tivesse. Eu não postei, lógico, isso. Eu não vendo dessa forma, mas eu vi. Milhares de pessoas me mandaram esses vídeos e eu fiquei muito feliz, fico muito contente. Isso aqui vai acontecer aqui também, eu tenho a maior certeza. Coletiva de imprensa, pesagem, luta. É o Charles Oliveira, é o Charles do Bronx.
It's the love that I feel. It's the love that I get everywhere. It was so amazing to see that. Is that the love that you can feel? So, I saw it. I was extremely happy when I saw it. But you know, I wouldn't. I wouldn't post it because I wouldn't. That's not how I sell the fight. But I saw it. I was aware. It's just that's how I feel with people. The fact that they were with us, and it's going to happen here again. It's going to happen in the press conference. It's going to happen at the weigh-ins, and it's going to happen on Saturday. That's it. The love for Charles Oliveira, Charles the Bronx.
Justin Gaethje was just in here, and he said that there are going to be two contenders coming out of this fight card, the winner of your fight and the winner of his fight against Max. And he expects Islam to fight both of you guys, the winners of these two fights, by the end of the year. I'm curious if you're in agreement with that kind of scenario Justin laid out.
Cara, na realidade, é muita gente falando muitas coisas. Né? Todo mundo sabe que o próximo da fila sou eu. Né? O Dana White mesmo tinha falado isso, eu sofri uma lesão, voltei. Agora diz que o Islam também tinha sofrido uma lesão e está voltando agora. Então, cara, na realidade, eu acredito muito que o próximo da fila sou eu, não tem como mudar. Vamos esperar. Vamos pensar uma coisa de cada vez. Vamos pensar sábado agora, vencendo agora, a gente vê o que faz pro final.
A lot of people have been saying all these things, and I think it just, I mean, Dana even said it, that I'm next in line. And then I got injured. And then Islam allegedly is injured as well. So it's a lot of people are going to say things, but let's wait. Let's take one thing at a time. Let's get this win on Saturday, and then we'll talk about it.
And last one for me, can I get your thoughts on the fight of the main event between Jamahal and Alex, and then the BMF fight between Max and Justin?
Jamahal Hill é um grande lutador, só que eu acho que qualquer cara que lutar contra o Alex na parte em pé é muito perigoso. O Alex Botan chuta muito bem, né, se movimenta muito bem, então eu creio que pode muito nocautear, mas creio que vai ser uma grande luta e acredito muito na vitória do Alex Botan. Né? E da luta do BMF, eu acho que são dois grandes lutadores, dois grandes nomes, mas eu acredito muito no Gaethje pelo fato de ser um verdadeiro 70 quilos, um cara que pega duro, um cara que se movimenta duro, mas vai ser uma grande luta.
As far as Alex and Jamal, Alex is just a force. So he obviously he's so strong. And even though I like Jamal. Jamal's a strong guy, a good opponent, but Alex is just so. If anyone that faces Poatan, if they stand with him, they know what they're facing. Just a guy with a heavy hand that, he'll strike with you really well. He will kick you a lot too. So you know that any strike can happen, and he can just end the fight right there. As far as Gaethje and Holloway, Gaethje is a true lightweight, so he understands things. He knows how to move around the octagon. He knows where he puts his punches. Like he knows his power. He knows he can do things. So I think
foi uma grande luta. Ele saiu com a vitória. Aproveitou a oportunidade. O momento que ele teve, ele foi e fez o trampo acontecer.
Great fight. Came out with a win. Took advantage of the opportunity. And the moment that he saw, he just took advantage of it and made it happen.
Não, na realidade eu só estou tentando aprender um pouco, tentando entender um pouco, tentando me comunicar com meus fãs. Essa é a minha realidade. Eu não quero sentar aqui e dar entrevista em inglês ou qualquer outra coisa do tipo. Na realidade, só quero poder me comunicar com as pessoas que gostam de mim, do mesmo jeito que eu sempre me conecto com as pessoas que são brasileiras, que eu posso mostrar o meu carinho, não tem outra pessoa podendo falar aquilo que eu quero falar, aquilo que eu quero me expressar. É só por isso que eu quero tentar aprender inglês.
I'm just trying to learn, to communicate with people, to actually engage with the fans, to give back the love that I get from people. Talk to them on social media, engage with them, because I just want to be able to do that and be there for them, just like I am with the Brazilian fans. And when you don't have somebody to help you out with it, I just want to be able to actually engage with them and show my love for them, my appreciation.
Cara, de coração, eu sou muito bem tratado. Todo mundo sabe que eu sou um verdadeiro corintiano de verdade, não é porque é patrocínio nem nada, não. Eu sou um verdadeiro corintiano de verdade. A torcida me trata muito bem, do mesmo jeito que eu trato eles, então somos loucos, né? É igual a gente fala, essa corrente jamais será quebrada.
That crowd, they know me. They know I'm a true Corinthians fan. It's not about a sponsorship. It's not anything of the sort. I mean, I treat them the way they treat me. It's with a lot of love and as we said, like we're a bunch of crazies, and what we like to say in the fans is that chain is never going to be broken.
Charles, I'd like to go back to the fan support that you receive. Charles, there's a lot of exciting contenders on the roster. What do you think it is that fans connect with you so much? Because you are one of the most popular guys on the card.
Primeiro que eu sou um cara iluminado por Deus. Sou muito grato por tudo isso que eu venho vivendo, pelo amor, pelo carinho que eu trato com todo mundo. Homem, mulher, criança, velho, não importa. Se é meu fã, eu trato muito bem. Se também não é meu fã, eu também trato muito bem. Então, acho que é esse amor, esse carinho que cada vez mais as pessoas vão vendo e a gente vai se crescendo cada vez mais. Então, essa é a felicidade que eu tenho.
Being very thankful for God for actually, the relationship that I have with them and the happiness and engaging with them. And always being respectful to everyone and always treating them with the same care that they treat me, always with the same love, always very grateful for everything that's happening. Every time I get that love, I give that love back, and we're growing in numbers, and this relationship is just only growing, and this group of people is growing with me, and as I grow, they grow as well.
Charles, you are very well known for your grappling. You are a third-degree black belt. You have the most submission wins in UFC history. But I feel like a lot of times, because you're so good on the ground, people forget that you have excellent Muay Thai technique. And do you feel in this matchup that you're more dangerous on the ground or in the striking?
Olha, de verdade, sou um lutador de MMA. Eu sou um perigo tanto no chão quanto em pé. Já falei isso milhares de vezes, algumas pessoas ainda não botaram fé. Eu sou o problema dessa divisão. Se você quiser vir trocar porrada, eu vou trocar porrada em pé com você, não tem problema nenhum. Se você quiser me botar para baixo, pode voltar, eu sou o maior finalizador da história. Então isso não é se gabar nem se achar, é simplesmente ter confiança. Treino na maior equipe do mundo, Shootbox Diego Lima. Estou pronto para lutar contra qualquer em qualquer lugar do mundo.
I'm an MMA fighter, and that's it. It doesn't matter. You want to take this down to the ground, we'll do it. You want to stand up and you want to strike, we'll do it. It doesn't matter. I said this. I have the problem of this division. I will fight anyone, anywhere. It does not matter. As a complete fighter, I can go anywhere with this fight. Last week, you announced that you're actually going to have your first son, and we know what happened last time when you had Tyler. After Tyler, 11 straight wins. So what's going to happen? Charles on a streak 2.0?
Fala, irmão. Tranquilo, bom te ver. Cara, na realidade, eu já estava muito motivado, né? Estava muito motivado, muito focado, querendo continuar essa história gigantesca, essa história linda que Deus vem proporcionando para mim, a se tornar campeão mais uma vez, deixar um legado. E aí Deus me deu esse presente maravilhoso junto com a vitória, né, que é meu filho, Dominique. E então, cara, você imagina, na metade do camp vem essa notícia maravilhosa. Então, por que não? Por que a gente não embalar com uma sequência gigantesca de vitórias? Sim, eu estou muito motivado, eu estou muito feliz, eu estou muito grato a Deus por tudo isso que vem acontecendo. Sou muito grato a Deus, muito grato a ela por tudo que vem fazendo na minha vida, por tudo que vem me abençoando, me ajudando. A palavra-chave é gratidão, sabe? Eu estou muito grato por tudo que tem vem acontecendo e eu só estou no caminho, como eu falei agora nas últimas vezes. De verdade, algumas pessoas estão falando que eu já tenho tudo. Não, eu não tenho nada ainda. Tem muita coisa para acontecer, tem muita lenha para queimar, tem muita história para acontecer, tem muitos sonhos para se tornar real.
I was already motivated. I was already focused. And, you know, midway through camp, I was ready in camp. And we're halfway through camp, and all of a sudden I get this blessing. And I get these news that this is happening. So I get this gift that I'm getting from God and from Victoria. And why not? Why not rock this boat? Why not use this and turn it into a streak? I'm just very grateful. I'm very grateful for the opportunity God has given me, the opportunities that God has given me throughout, and then what that Victoria has brought to the table as well. It's just the word is being grateful. The word is to being thankful for this opportunity, and people say, I don't know, some people say sometimes, he's got everything, you got everything. Now, I do not have everything. There's a lot to be gotten yet. It's still, we still need to get a lot of things. There's a lot of dreams. There's a lot of aspirations. And there's a legacy in history to be put in.
Charles, you haven't lost a non-title bout since 2017, yet still people write you off. Does that motivate you to keep proving them wrong?
Could you repeat that? Because I couldn't hear what you said. You said you didn't lose something since...
So, Charles, you haven't lost a non-title bout since 2017.
Sorry, I couldn't hear.
Lutas são lutas. Todas elas levam aquilo que você quer. Que é com o seu braço levantado, se torna campeão. Então não importa se ela é para uma disputa de título ou uma luta normal como essa. Eu quero que meu braço seja levantado. Eu quero continuar aumentando esse legado. Quero levar a vitória para minha família, para todas as pessoas que acreditam em mim. Lutas são lutas.
Fights are fights. It doesn't matter what you're fighting for. You want to get that hand raised at the end. It really doesn't matter what's at stake. What you want is to win. You win for yourself, win for that legacy, to grow that legacy, win for all of those that have been with you all throughout, and for your family as well. So fights are fights. It doesn't matter.
Charles, on this card, the UFC has brought out all the records, the history behind every fighter on this card, and you could make a strong argument of the 26 people competing on Saturday. You have the best resume. You have the most records. What does it mean to you that you have all that behind you on a card like this? You stand out among all these fighters with all this history behind them.
Cara, são 14 anos aqui dentro, né? 14 anos que eu me entreguei da minha vida, 14 anos que eu acreditei num sonho gigantesco. Então, tenho que ser grato. Recordes, bônus, finalizações, número 1 do ranking, campeão. Eu sou muito grato, tenho que ser grato às pessoas que acreditaram em mim o tempo inteiro, que nunca deixaram eu desfocar, que sempre me manteram meu pé no chão, nunca me deixaram voar, sabe? Porque tem cara que não ganhou de ninguém e se acha tanto. Então, poder chegar aqui num UFC como esse, num card como esse, né? Ter um gabarito como esse, então, é como eu falei, é só o começo, tem muita coisa para acontecer. Sou muito grato a Deus, muito grato às pessoas que sempre me ajudaram e sempre me ajudou.
Obviously very thankful, and it's 14 years in the UFC. There's a lot that I've done. It's all the work that was put in. So, you know, it's all the wins, all the records, all the finishes, all the bonuses, and everything else. It's very thankful for the opportunities and for the fact that I was able to accomplish all these things, and for all the people that believed in me, and the people that were there all the way, and people that actually kept my feet on the ground, that didn't let me just fly away. There are a lot of people out there that haven't even once anything, and they're already talking a lot. So you have to be very grateful. The word is grateful, and to continue to be humble and be very thankful for the opportunity, for being considered, and that's how all those credentials come about.
Arman, obviously, right here. huge fight for you. These are the type of fights you've been asking for a long time. So to be here on a card like this, a name like Charles Oliveira, is this just kind of a dream come true?
Yeah, it's dream comes true, and so excited and to be in UFC 300 and to fight for the contender #1.
Yeah, no doubt in your mind, no matter what happens in any of these other fights, if you win this the way you think you're going to, you're fighting Islam next?
Yeah, definitely. Dana White said this: who win this fight gonna fight for the title, and I'm the next.
And of course, you don't want to think beyond this. This is a very difficult fight with Charles, but there's this kind of Islam saying he wants to fight June 1st. Would that even be possible to ask you to turn around in 7 weeks?
I don't know. I can answer this question Saturday.
For sure. And just your thoughts on Charles and kind of where he is at this point in his career. A lot of people have vocalized that they think, he quits in fights and he folds and things like this. Do you see him as that guy, or do you think he's, someone different now?
No, how former champion can be like this. So he was a former champion. He defend titles, and the quicker guys can be a champion. So I don't think so.
Arman, right here. Charles did an interview earlier this week. He responded to some of the things you said about him. He's obviously limited and he takes backs really well, but nothing really else. Maybe he's not hungry, and he just kind of called it bullshit talk. Do you think you are getting under his skin before this fight?
I mean, I gotta talk about him, because he doesn't talk about me. I gotta talk about him. So I wanna to get people to watch this fight more, and that's why I gotta say something about him.
So it's nothing personal. You're just trying to.
No. I'm just trying to get more fun to watch this fight.
And just two really quick ones for me. Can I get your thoughts on the main event between Jamahal and Alex, and the BMF fight between Justin and Max?
I want to say about BMF, I feel like Justin gonna knock him out first time.
And what about the main event between Alex and Jamahal?
Main event is, I don't know, 50-50, but to be honest, I didn't watch their fights because they're not in my division. I just watched a couple highlights, and 50-50, I don't know them very well. A lot of things change. I'm getting better every day. I'm just 27 years old, and I'm learning every day new techniques, and I got a lot of experience, and I got 3 more fights after that, or 4 more fights, I don't remember. But yeah, so I feel like now I got better, and my striking is getting better, my wrestling, grappling, conditional, and also English.
Arman over here. Arman, right back here. How's it going?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing great. Good to see you. We obviously saw that you were training at American Top Team for this camp. Dustin Poirier fought Charles Oliveira. Did he give you any sort of insight on him as an opponent? Did you get to work with Dustin at all?
No, I didn't work with Dustin because he had the fight before me. So, but our coach is the same, and they already know what I gotta do during the fight, and what mistake did Dustin, I shouldn't do the same, and we work a lot on it, and we watch all his fights, and we did good job. So I feel like this Saturday I'm gonna show a good performance.
We saw Grant Dawson in a photo with you. Who are some of your other training partners for this camp?
Yeah, a lot of sparring partners, and I don't want to say one name because I have 10, 15 sparring partners, and everybody helped me, and thank you so much, ATT.
And I know Isaac Dulgarian mentioned to me in an interview, he's Armenian as well. He mentioned about getting to train with you at some point. Have you spoken to him at all? Obviously, he's a tough opponent in the featherweight division.
Yeah, he's a good guy, and we just text to each other, but I haven't seen him personal. Yeah, but if he wants to come to ATT, of course. Now I'm trying to bring as much as Armenian fighters in ATT and to train together.
And just last one from me. I know you like hockey. Are you going to be going to the Golden Knights game on Friday night? They're playing the Minnesota Wild.
If they invite me, yes.
Arman, over here. What sets you apart from other fighters in the division? How do you plan to leverage those skills on Saturday night?
Say one more time, please.
What sets you apart from the division, and what skills set are you going to show on Saturday night?
I'm gonna do my work, you know, what I was training so long, you know, try to be well-rounded, try to strike, wrestle, grappling. Like, I wanna be best on every positions, and I feel like my skills, that skills I have, I can strike, I can wrestle, I can grapple. So I'm gonna tell him what we're gonna do during the fight.
If Charles invites you to the ground, is that something you're going down on the ground with him?
No problem.
Arman, right over here. Obviously on the card is your teammate, Kayla Harrison. In Miami, you were asked that thing with the fans, and it became a bit of an issue. She said you guys had talked about it. Can you just explain a little bit, just from your point of view, what was going on when you heard it and just everything that happened?
Oh, what happened? We talked to each other after that, and she understood what I mean, and now we're good.
Thank you.
Arman, I know you've spent a lot of your training camp in Russia, and you've been training under a 3-time freestyle wrestling world champion. How much has that helped you level up your grappling and prepare you for such a high-level grappler like Charles Oliveira?
Yeah, in Russia it's the best freestyle wrestling in the world, and train with them, it gives me, you know, I think the hardest training is a freestyle wrestling, because they train like a crazy 3 times a day, and yeah, it gave me to wrestle very well and to improve my condition, especially like wrestling condition. Погромче.
Извиняюсь, продолжая тему России, самой большой точкой величия в легком дивизионе, если мы говорим и о медийной составляющей, и о спортивной, является Хабиб Нурмагомедов. Чувствуешь ли ты в себе силу, что ты можешь в этих компонентах его превзойти? Если да, то что именно для этого тебе нужно сделать? And for our English-speaking colleagues, the question was about legacy that left in lightweight division Khabib Nurmagomedov, and is Arman feel that he can be even greater? If we are talking both of sport and media.
Еще раз на русском вопрос можно?
Если мы берем и спортивную составляющую, и медийную, то самое большое наследие в легком дивизионе оставил Хабиб. Чувствуешь ли ты, что ты можешь его превзойти? И если да, что тебе для этого нужно сделать?
Ну, превзойти в этой жизни можно любого. Нужно сделать как минимум, как он, максимум еще больше защитить титул, раз, наверное, 6-7, и быть таким же достойным человеком, как он, и я думаю, что все получится. Но я не стремлюсь быть медийным, как он. Я хочу просто стать чемпионом и защитить пару раз этот титул. И просто доказать самому себе, что я могу быть чемпионом.
Обои.
На английском надо? Should I say in English? Так, что он там на английском сказал? Like, I'm confused. I don't want to be superstar like Khabib. I just want to be a champion and defend a couple of times my belt, and that's it.
Alexander,
Yep.
welcome back. It's been a long time just to be in a fight week on a card like this. What a way to return, right?
Yeah, I mean, almost 2 years not competing, but to be honest, it doesn't feel like. It feels like for me 5-6 months. But yeah, what a comeback to have on the biggest card of the year. Or
Why
of the
does
decade.
it feel like it's been only 5-6 months?
Oh, feels great. I mean, those 2 years just put oil in the fire, you know. It motivates me a lot and to compete and to win on Saturday night and to show the world or to remind the UFC and the world that Alexander Rakic is still here to claiming the title.
And you were supposed to fight Jan in January, and that didn't come together. Is this a better scenario for you against Yuri?
I mean, of course, Yuri is better ranked, and I think the people want to see this match against Yuri. Me and Yuri had some back and forward beef on Twitter. So, and he's from Europe, I am from Europe. He's living not far away where I live. So let's find out who the king of Europe is, and later on who the king of the world is.
Yeah, and speaking of the king of the world, I mean, how do you feel you fit into this division if you come back with a win? Title fight on this card. The champion has changed multiple times since you've been gone. What does a win here do for you in terms of where this division goes moving forward?
It depends how the fight goes. If I perform very well, like I used to do, could be that I will be next fighting for the title.
Alex, right here. Obviously, Yuri's a big name. UFC 300 is a milestone. But was it also important to be on this card, given that the light heavyweight title is also the main event?
100%. You know, everybody is watching UFC 300. Also, though they are like soft MMA fans, they would watch UFC 300. So the whole world watching UFC 300, and what a way to have a comeback and to win on Saturday night. And to remind and to prove people wrong who are doubting on me.
You also mentioned you had a little Twitter beef with Yuri. Was any of that like legitimate or personal, or was it just trying to get him to take the fight?
I mean, he took it personal a couple of years ago, but I really don't care. You know, since Jan canceled the fight in January, I immediately called out Yuri and asked for February, and he mentioned February, March. And then I said, let's go February. And then he said he can go March. March I couldn't. So Mick Maynard made the offer, okay, let's do it in UFC 300. And I was 100% in, you know.
Was it difficult to start and stop your camp so much and the change of opponent?
Not so much, you know. I'm a guy who loves to train. It's a lifestyle for me also, next to competing. And I've been training all over the year. So it was not even hard.
And what type of Yuri are you expecting? Because obviously when he fought Glover, a lot of people think that's one of the best fights ever. And then his last fight against Alex was pretty quick. So I'm curious, what type of Yuri are you expecting on Saturday?
I mean, I'm expecting a aggressive Yuri, unorthodox like he used to be. And it's going to be a hard fight for me also and for him as well. Because he feels very good in chaos. And I'm a guy who can settle the chaos, and that's gonna be an amazing fight. Yeah, we will see how prepared he is for that fight, because I am.
And last one for me, can I get your thoughts on the main event between Alex and Jamahal, and also the BMF fight between Justin and Max?
The main event against Alex and Hill, I just hope that Hill is 100% recovered. So I just hope that he don't take this fight on short, like on short notice to just be a part of UFC 300. If this is not, we will have a stand-up battle, stand-up war, and may the best man win. You know, both are very good knockout artists, and it's gonna be fireworks.
What do you think of the BMF fight between Justin?
Oh man, this one is a banger. You know, I like Max. I love to watch his fights. I love also Justin. You know, the fights are exciting. If I can choose a winner, I would say Max probably. Yeah.
Alex over here. You're on the prelims of this card. Did that surprise you a little bit? I think a lot of fans expected this fight to be on the pay-per-view.
Yeah, we were supposed to be on a pay-per-view, but I really don't care. If I need to fight on the parking with Yuri, I'm going to fight in the parking. You know, it's a fight. You know, doesn't matter where.
And I think it's going to be about 700 days since your last fight. I know it's been a while. It's been a long time, you being off. Is there anything you're looking to show in the cage that maybe you've worked on over the last 700 days, and anything in particular that you've sort of added to your arsenal?
100%. I mean, I've been working like the last 2 years next to the rehabilitation. I worked really hard to come back. I worked on all skills what I have, like wrestling, grappling, and striking. And I see the difference. I'm now 32. I'm getting in my prime. And the camp was amazing. I did many new things, good things. And be surprised on Saturday night to see the best rocket you ever saw.
And just last one from me. You talked a bit about training and adding some new things. Did you do any cross-training? And who are some of the training partners you got to work with this camp?
I brought some young, hungry fighters from Europe, Serbia, Slovenia, Poland, Croatia, Germany. So I had many sparring partners, and all of them to mimic Jiří Prochazka. And yeah, went really good. This camp was all about sparring, so we sparred a lot. And every sparring for me was a shark tank. So every round, a new guy came in.
Two more. 1, 2. Alex, I'm curious, with the 700 days off, did you keep an eye on how the division was developing, or did you separate and take time just to recover?
No, I saw every important fight in the top 10, 15. I've been getting my eyes on it and always communicate with my team and coaches. And man, this long layoff, like I said, it doesn't feel long, but this just put oil into the fire. This made me like so motivated, so hungry, and this is what I needed. I'm more calm. I'm a more calm person. I became more calm like comparing the last 2 years and now, and more confident. And a calm Alexander Rakic is a dangerous man.
And last thing for me, you said this would be for who is the king of Europe. So had a bout with Jiří been something that you had seen possibly that you'd been looking forward to?
100%, me and him are in the top 5. We are almost the same age. So this fight need to be happened, and the fans want to see it, especially the fans also from Europe, to see who the king of Europe is. And then we claim the world, or I claim the world, let's say.
Rakic, just back here. I want to know, can you explain a little bit when you had said that Jiří is not a real samurai, and do you think that bothered him? Because it seemed to give the biggest reaction when he heard you had said that.
Yeah, I said he's a fake samurai because, you cannot become a samurai after just reading a book, what his coach gave it to him. And live this spirit, If you are a samurai, you need to live this for a long time and not for the last 2-3 years. So that's why I said he's a samurai, fake samurai. Thank you, guys. See you.
Jiří, welcome to Fight Week, but not just any Fight Week, UFC 300, massive event. How excited are you to be able to showcase your skills on an event like this?
Very excited. Very excited. And have a great day. Have a great day to everyone.
Thank you.
And yeah, I'm happy to be back in that fast way, in that fast time after my last fight. And right now, here in Vegas, everything is settled. I'm healthy to the fight. Not like last time, but doesn't matter. And everything is on the great way. So I'm happy, and I'm looking forward for the Saturday night.
You mentioned you weren't very healthy last time. I'm sure you don't want to get into details, but maybe give us a percentage. How much of your full self were you in there that night?
Like the last fight?
Yes.
Well, I don't want to repeat that too much, but I was not my camp was not that, with Pereira, was not full. There was already just 1 week of training, like a true training. So, but doesn't matter. Happen. I'm taking that, and let's go for this Saturday.
So how excited are you therefore now to be able to go back in there on Saturday with that full preparation and show everyone, hey, don't forget, I'm very, very good.
Great. I feel great, and I have to keep it down a little bit right now because I feel like there is too much energy, especially when I see the cage where I win about the race, and when I feel that energy, it brings me to the action. It kicked me to the action, so I have to be calm.
Alexander was in here earlier, and he said this is a fight for the king of Europe. I'm curious if you agree with that sentiment.
He's talking too much. So, okay, it's a normal fight. For me, it's a next fight. For me is not to be like the king of the Europe, because I'm not looking to be the king of the Europe. I'm looking to be the king of the world. Not the king of the world, but the champion, the top, the edge. And I am able to show that this Saturday. That's all.
You mentioned he's talking a lot. He also said you're a fake samurai. You can't be a samurai just because you read a book your coach gave you. Are you surprised he's coming out with these words?
He said that here?
Yes, he did.
What he said?
He said he doesn't consider you a real samurai. You're a fake samurai. You can't be a real samurai just because your coach gave you a book to read. You know, if you want to be a samurai, it can't just be for the last 2 or 3 years. It needs to be basically a lifetime of that sort of energy.
And what's the question?
I'm curious if you're surprised he's coming out with this sort of pre-fight trash talk, or if this sort of something you expected from him.
I understand. Alexander is talking too much. Like I said, he's talking too much. He don't know me, and he will know me in the cage, who I am, where I am able to go, how through I can go to take a win, and he don't know me personally. If you don't know somebody personally, how you can speak about him something, whatever. And I never said about myself, I'm a samurai or whatever. Yeah, because I'm respecting all the warriors from all the history, and I'm sharing with the people, with all the world, every time, the best ideas and best thoughts what I ever have, which helped me to improve myself on the way, to keep myself on the way. And you will like that. He don't know nothing about me, how I'm living. Yeah. I can't say what I sacrificed, because I accept the way. And when you accept the way, you will live wherever, do whatever. That's it. Yeah. So he's talking shit.
Is there a risk if he's trying to attempt to maybe play mind games with you that actually he's making a mistake and might just motivate you more this weekend?
No, I'm not fighting because somebody's saying something. I'm fighting because I want to be the best version of myself. And he's talking. He have to prove that I'm what he's talking. And I will prove that just I'm the better version than my last fight. And win about this guy who's trying to be tough, gangster, but he's a normal sportsman.
You're right here. Do you believe that Alexander believes what he's saying, or is he just trying to sell the fight and make fans more interested?
Maybe he's believe in what he's saying, but he's missed. So that's happened. That we are believing in something what's not true. Yeah. So I'm a little bit sorry about him, and that's only one thing what I can say. So.
He also said in the fight you are very good at creating chaos in there, but he's just very good at calming the chaos down and making people fight in his style. I'm curious what you make of his skill set actually in the octagon. What do you make of his abilities in the octagon?
How I see him, yeah? He's and that's the good point, because he's he's working like too much in a fight. Yeah, he make a lot of work, make a lot of action, and with a lot of power. And he believes something will find a target. And I'm not just making the chaos and a lot of movement, but all this movement with some meaning, because I see the reaction, I see the free space, where is the weaknesses of his weaknesses, and for that I will attack, especially to know his strategy.
Last one for me. Can I get your thoughts on the fight between Jamahal and Alex and Justin Gaethje and Max Holloway?
Yeah. Hill versus Pereira, I think there is more weapons, like every time I'm saying the same in every interviews, because I don't change my thoughts. There is a more weapon on the side of the Hill, because he has more experiences in MMA, but there is a more chances on the start of the Hill side, but when the fight will goes to more round, 1, 2, second, fourth round, doesn't matter, there will be more chances of Pereira, I think, because he knows how to be patient, how to wait for the right moment, like with me. Yeah.
Can I get your thoughts on Justin Gaethje and Max Holloway?
Max is my teammate from same management, so I'm for Max, but they are great guys. Max and Justin both are great fighters. So and I'm saying that every time, expect, that means like in my fight, let the better win. Let the better win. In my fight, I believe in myself.
Yuri over here. What did you make of Alex's performance against Jan Blachowicz? It ended in an injury, but how did you think he looked prior to that stoppage?
Thank you for a question. It showed me a lot about Alexander's stand-up, and he did a great work with a tough opponent like Jan Blachowicz. But there was I don't want to say that. There was too much unuseful action of him, and from both guys, that was like sparring. It was like sparring. Yeah, it was. If somebody wants to end the fight, he have to risk something. That's why my fight looks a little bit risky. Yeah, but I'm giving all in my fights. Yeah.
I saw a photo with you and Glover Teixeira. What did you two talk about? Obviously, you fought him. I saw you saw Glover Teixeira the other day in Vegas. What was that like?
Well, great reminder. Great reminder because they asked me for every round, so from 1 till the 5th round. So and some rounds I didn't remember. So great to hear that, to see that again, to know what to not repeat in the fighting, yeah, and be ready to take a chance in every moment, because that last choke was for me like I didn't understand how I did that. So for this fight with Alexander, and after the fight with Glover, I'm open every time. I'm saying I'm open to every chance to end the fight, no matter what. And that's why I started to connect a little bit more the wrestling and jiu-jitsu and ground and pound with my stand-up to be a one piece.
And just last question from me. We were talking earlier about some of the things that Rakic said. Do you wish there wasn't any trash talk in MMA? It seems like you'd rather just, do a regular media and go into the fight and not be asked questions about what your opponent said. Do you wish we had more of martial artists not talking trash?
That's the only way to see the true warriors. Yeah. If there is something, what's really the problem between me and if I had some real problem with Alexander, I will go to his home and I will knock to his door, and that will be my attitude. If there will be some problem, that's all. If there is this is just some he's talking some bullshits and everybody expect I will be, man, that's not true, and I am samurai and you will die for what you say, man. This is I will show him just that's we're showing no shots and nothing. I'm going for a win. That's all what I can say.